Both of these teams are 1 point separated from one another. Sorry, I got distracted. Separated from one another in the major league standings at the moment after yesterday's results. It's third place Loud Esports versus fifth place qvG Esports. And while they are 1 point away, they do sit 2 places behind each other, looking to overtake each other on the standings if things go according to plan. But if things don't, then they will both share a point and they will retain their positions in the table. Welcome to Talent League, ladies, gents, and non-binaries. I'm one be joined by my co-caster here, Puffer Bob, and well, after casting today's matchup, it was Humble Academy versus Vivid United. That was a good matchup to watch, but I think we'll have a much better match here today.
Most definitely. Seems like these two teams do have a bit more experience, especially because I know one of the teams, I guess, a bit of background. I have a close friend there. But yeah, actually, let's introduce the teams first. We're going to be looking at Team qvG face off against Team Loud. A very interesting name, they want to scream their guts out while fighting for, the victory. So, there has been community votes like always, so let's overhelp to that. And it seemed like community votes, at least from the past, at least from what they've seen from qvG and of course Team Loud, it seems like 32% is going to be going over to qvG, the 60% over to Loud, and there's going to be an 8% vote for a draw. Since this is a BO2, a draw is possible, so maybe we'll be seeing something like that. So let's actually talk about what happened before, the previous matches. And both of these teams faced off Ultrac, a very strong team. They're known to be extremely dominant, and they both faced off against them, and both teams actually lost 0-2. So they both had the same fate. The scores were a bit better on all tracks, as actually on qvg's side. They fared off a bit better. Actually, a bit worse. I misread that. My bad. But yeah, right now, Loud actually went against O2 on all track. First map, on all tracks map, they lost 7-0. It was extremely close, one round away from victory. And on their own map, actually, got dominated 3-7. qvg had a pretty similar score, but I think if both teams are ready, we should be actually heading into the match. Now, most of the time you have pretty default maps like Villa, Oregon, Clubhouse. We're gonna be getting joined by one of those maps. It's gonna be Clubhouse, a pretty default one. Everyone knows it. And for the second one of the BO2, we're gonna be having quite a unique one, quite a huge one. 3 floors, all to be expandable, and it's gonna be Bank. Of course, Bank was chosen by Team Loud, and they decided, they wanna go over to attack. And qvg yet again went Clubhouse, and they also want to attack. So, Wumby, what are your thoughts on that?
Thoughts on both Clubhouse and Villa being, or not, sorry, Clark, both Clubhouse and Bank being picked. I'm interested in the Bank pick. Of course, we don't get to see Bank a lot. Club is a map that we've seen here and there in Talent League, but in this current season, it hasn't been picked as much as maybe in Oregon and the Chalet. Both of those maps are probably the most played maps in season 7 so far in Talent League. But I just want to say this: both of these teams did win against Ultrac. Both of them having a 2-0 score line, so they both got the 3 points from that game. And Ultrac actually do sit in 8th place, so they both have that similarity with one another. And you know, it's a bit interesting that they have that similarity with one another.
Most definitely. I mean, yeah. Keeping that in mind, let's actually do we have both teams ready? We have a bit of a we have confirmation from at least what it seems. So these maps, like mentioned, Clubhouse being pretty default themselves. it's going to be quite interesting as we don't see much difference. You know, the strats most of the time are decently passive aggressive. You see most default rotations, it's just a default strat. But let's hope one of these teams can actually surprise us, maybe a new strat, as we've been actually seeing qvG, at least from what I've spectated. First round or first map I've watched, especially on border, it was very interesting to say the least. Let's actually head into the map before we talk about that. But they played on border and they had a lot of I guess you could say aggressive rush strategies. Especially we saw the player Breezy, if you remember back then, going to into side, rushing in and planting with a blitz shield on his back, ready to protect him. So that was quite a new experience to say the least. Now, that was the past that they probably changed, they probably adapted, and just gotten a lot better. So let's hope we'll be seeing that as we go on to bans. And we can safely assume Thatcher and Kid are going to be out. The dynamic duo are instantly removed, as on Clubhouse, they seem a lot stronger than on other maps. While they can still fare pretty well, it's just Clubhouse makes an exception.
Yeah. One thing that we did forget to mention though at the beginning of this stream is the staff vote. 13% of the staff voted for QVG and 87%, as I get my percentages right, voted for Loud Esports to win. So not only are Loud Esports favored on the community vote, they are favored in the staff vote as well. I actually did vote for Loud Esports, so hopefully my prediction is correct because again I do want to overtake Trippin on that staff predictions. But that's neither here nor there. I just have a personal rivalry with him. But we do get on with the map, not the map ban, sorry, the operator bans on Clubhouse. And again, it's nothing really of note or anything unique. The Maverick is being banned out. He's very powerful in this map, as a lot of teams know, just because of his ability to Maverick trick and how powerful that is on Clubhouse, especially when it comes to on that server wall and also on Jacuzzi. Valkyrie's getting banned out, so that's a lot of intel from the defensive side of things being taken off as well, and also Kaid. So again, hard breach denial, nothing too surprising. Kaid is almost always banned on every single map that he's actually really really good on, like Bank or Oregon, for example.
Yeah, most definitely. These maps are not actually the bans are not that unique. You see these operators being used pretty commonly, especially Maverick Trick on CC wall hashes, all that type of stuff. While Hibana is still in the game, you can still open hashes without a problem, hard breach devices, all that type of stuff. Maverick is going to be a bit of a hard blow for the attacking side since not only do you not have Thatcher, but joining that with Maverick, so breaching will have to include verticality or a lot more utility usage to say the least. But let's actually go on to these operators. Now, for defense, we're going to be talking that a bit later, but on attack, they can still switch operators. The attack repick is in play, but we love to see something new. There's going to be a blitz in play. Now, he may be getting switched off any second, as Breezy will maybe have, a second thought about going blitz. Maybe it's going to be a rush, as it seems like we have an Ash, we have a Hibana, and a blitz with a Finka. So all seems to be pretty speedy slash rushy operators. So if that doesn't get switched off, we can see maybe actually something quite interesting to say the least. Now on defense, it's just a default wall model. You could say, well, the smoke, it's with the Rooney paired with the Malusi, no rushes are going to be getting in that easily.
10
And
seconds
Jaeger
to
Mute
insertion.
is all just a default combo. You always see it, and it
5
can't go
seconds
you
to
can't go
insertion.
wrong with it. So first we're going to be going downstairs. It's a bit of a preparation upstairs, and it seems like there's going to be two players at least around roaming. So there is some heavy roam presence. There is some aggression on Team Loud. Of course, we already have a mute all the way into gym actually. So they have a full strat upstairs, and they're playing pretty aggressively, could say the least. They don't want to, they don't want to give up map pressure too quickly or map control itself.
QVG have a very aggressive lineup, especially when you look at the fact, or well, actually not really that aggressive, just your average lineup. Ash is an operator that we don't see, especially not over Sophia, because everybody, when you ask them, well, who's the better operator in terms of destructibility and all that crap, Ash or Sophia, people pick Sophia just for the obvious reasons that she has those custom names combined with the impacts and plus breaching charges as well. Ash does have that too, but as I say that, so many kills are going out. QVG retained that min lead. Lasmo and Mattox fall, and that's actually the whole of this top four from Loud Esports cleared out. So their roam game has been deconstructed. Yes, they do get get a man, but they lose two in the process. Now, is that going to be costly to them? They do have three players still left alive. One of those is going to be Juha. His utility, especially those smoke canisters lasting about like 15 seconds, he will be pivotal in stopping the later stages of these pushes from qvG and the later stages of this round.
Yeah, I mean, smoke being kept in the late rounds is extremely important. You know, if you have 45 seconds left or 30 or so for the final execute, smoke is going to be a big thorn in your side, especially coming in, even in clutch sometimes. Aruni, Mute, Malusi, Jaeger have all put down their utility, so, you know, they can take gunfights without having too much of a worry of their utility. But let's actually talk about the timer. You know, we have 1 minute and 10 seconds, and map control is pretty much second floor and third floor, I guess you could say, as let's say the bottom floor is the first floor, but second and third floor are pretty much under control. Of course, there aren't as much claymores, but you still have drones. And Gazu is going to be picking his second kill. It's going to be getting rushed onto Creed right now in a pretty hefty position as he's just trying to get out alive. He actually does manage to do so. He backs off, but not completely unharmed. He did manage to deal some damage to the Jaeger, and the smoke has actually been taken out, which was the one vital point he needed, the one thing he wanted. And that's going to be a kill onto Jaeger. Almost a quad kill onto the Rooney, but not quite, as Baby Shark is denying it, especially with 29 seconds remaining. There's going to be dropped. He almost gets one, but not quite. Of course, with the P10 Roni not having too much bullets, he's going to have a pretty hard time dealing damage to, you know, 3 operators all at the same time, while the Finka is out of the game. There's no more, you know, all those types of buffs. But there's going to be a kill transferred over to the Hibana, the team. That's going to be F2 out of the game. It's a 1v2 situation. Post plant is there. So what will our lovely Baby Shark? He gets another kill. That's a triple onto the head. He needs to get one more. And will he be able to do it? As he actually gets it. And that's going to be a quad kill and a clutch from the Rooney player with the defuse in hand. He's going to be winning the first round for Team Loud. Bit of a throw from qvG, to say the least. It was, they played it 1v1s. You know, they didn't want to play together, but everyone just spread apart, and they seemed very confident, but it did not work out.
Yep, not the proper way to play a 1v4 situation for qvG. Again, they had the plant down, they had the post plant set up. They just didn't have the positionings correct, and that's why they lost against Loud Esports. But a good clutch from Baby Shark clinches that round for Loud, and it's the first round on the board, and that's what we expect from both of these teams, to have these big name players such as Baby Shark, such as Mattox, such as even, you know, F2 and Gazo and all of that, to have big rounds like that. And it is Baby Shark to get his round, like to get his big round in this matchup so far. Now, going on to the second site for Loud, it is going to be CCTV. Obviously, basement is their primary, and now CCTV is their secondary. And, well, let's see how they hold on to this. The first round wasn't really all that impressive from Loud Esports. Their whole top floor crumbled very quickly, and then their site presence also crumbled behind that. If it wasn't for Baby Shark and also just some off position PG, Loud Esports would not even have had a chance in that round. But they did, and that's all that matters.
They managed to get away with it, most definitely. I mean, I feel like qvG had a very strong start. They took their map control, they droned it out, got everything under their control. They had it in the grasp of their hands, but, you know, them splitting apart like they're watching Scooby-Doo or something like that, at the end did not manage to work out for them. As of course, Baby Shark, he does not care. He almost pulled an ace on us with a quad kill in hand. He actually managed to clutch a 1v3, and even that was in post-plan situation out of all spots. The plan was down, and he managed to, you know, do it all in the matter of time to be able to actually come out as the winner. So, very impressive for Baby Shark, and let's hope we're going to be seeing a lot more as this. It's been the first round, and we're already seeing clutches like these. Absolutely insane. And of course, Mike right now actually still making rotations, so he could get caught off guard just by any type of situation. As right now, Finka, they're going to be pushing a bit more Jakku. They're going to take their floor yet again. They want to have map control. Just like before, they're going to be expanding all the way into Master, all the way into Gym, on defensive side at least. And of course, the attacking qvG is going to be there to counter it. They're going to be to take it, to control, and, you know, to, I guess you could say, devastate the team on Loud and put a lot of pressure on what they have to deal with. And of course, it's gonna push or split up in the late rounds, as of course Breach needs to be everywhere, and just rotations need to be cut off as much as possible. But it seems like qvG is going to be getting the first kill as Gazo is going to be there to deliver the L85 in hand. He tries to get a cheeky wallbang, but it will not be working out for him.
Gazo gets the first opener into this round. That's a good sign for qvG as, again, they got the first two. Well, no, they did get the first pick happening against, they had the first pick happen against them. And in this round, it happens for them. So that's Lasmo off of the board. That's this west side of the map in their control, especially towards office and now master bedroom. And now what they can do is pinch the rest of this loud esports player in the rest of these loud esports players in their own site. They have the thermite, and they also opened up the CCTV wall as well. And if Baby Shark gets over aggressive, and if Breezy can hit his shot correctly, then that would be another loud esports players off of the board. At the moment, though, the dust has been settled, and no quick fire draws have happened between both of these teams. No shots, nothing apart from the LMG going off in whatever direction or angle it is shooting at. Now, oh wait, he's down below, and he might be prepping a nitro cell. He does have the Gon 6, and there you go. He is going to get rid of that shield that persists at in the middle, on the middle table in the middle of cash. But now 30 seconds persists for the attackers, and yes, they have all of this map control. They have the hard breach done for the most part. But where is the attack coming from? When is the push going to start? Creed does get a second, and at once a Baby Shark, so they still retain this man advantage. Smoke grenades go out. Juha is hiding in his own smokes. He may be able to catch a qvG player off guard, but no, he falls. F2 kills him, and now 5v2. Now, oh my god, 3 of these qvG players are down. 10 seconds left to go. They're getting decimated by Maddox. They're all rushing at him. He's able to hit all 3 of those shots. Now 2 seconds, but they don't have diffuser, and it is another round for Loud Esports. Again, just escaping. I don't even know how they're able to win a second round. Just escaping by the skin of their teeth, and it is another round for them.
Very devastating round, yet at the end it was the same result. The start was extremely dominant for qvG. They started off with a first pick, map control, breach. They had it all in their hands, but of course, there was an Aruni, and she had a dream. Yet again, just like Baby Shark previously with the Aruni, this one had a DMR, and she actually managed to get a third down, getting 2 or 3 kills, I believe, in a mere instant. It happened all in the blink of an eye, and with the time waste on hand, and this is what we mean by the smoke being extremely powerful. In the late game, you have 20 seconds left. He will deny that. He has 3 smoke canisters, and he will, without a problem, deny you planting, running in without just any type of precaution. So smoke being kind of a bit of a clutch, he still managed to run into construction, get himself killed, and it was a 2v5, I do believe, situation, and 3 people were downed. No one was getting up, and Definka, I don't know if she had her adrenaline, because she could have actually gotten up all those 3 people in one. It could have been just a snap of her fingers, and 3 people would have been revived, but with the time remaining, it was not enough for qvG to actually come out as the winner. So, first map, like you said, 1B, first map was actually the first site was downstairs. Now we went CC. Both maps are actually on loud side, and now we're going to be going gym. We don't see much bars. Bar is not the choice that you get very familiarized with, but of course gym is very strong, especially with a castle in hand. But we're not going to be seeing castle, we're not going to be seeing the default castle hold. We're going to be seeing a bit of a different lineup. We have an Alibi, Mute, Lamai, Jaeger as well, and then a Rooney. So it seems like they'll be pretty strongly and confidently be holding off CC and Cash side.
Yeah, interestingly enough, you know what? I'm never too convinced by the Alibi pick. I know what she's bringing forward mainly because of her gun, and also because she is a 3-speed. She does have the 1.5 on the gun, so she's allowed to take long-range gunfights. Though, as I say that, the first player isn't going to be the Alibi to fall, who's all the way over here by CCTV. It's actually going to be Maddox by Strip who's taking out first. And it is Gazo again getting the first pick inside of these rounds. He's been instrumental for qvG in that department, but they have no rounds to show for it so far. Creed is going to be quickly traded out, so Loud Esports equaling the equation and add an even man count, or now it had an uneven man count because now Gazo falls, and that's one of your big big shot players that have been so pivotal for qvG in this round to keep them in the lead for most of these rounds, but they still lose them anyway because these pushes or these executions just aren't good enough. Now a 4v2 turns into a 3v2. Me getting a little bit too aggressive onto that gym hatch for my liking gets himself down and out for the count. Now a 3v2. Now a hard breach and Finka, Ace and the Finka, Circuit, Googie, and Breezy. What can they do with this lineup? Well, the Somas, Breezy has 2 more Somas left, and I'm not too sure if they got open a Jacuzzi wall. I would assume so by how passively Lasmo is playing in bathroom. He's not overpeaking on that Jacuzzi wall, but this push seems to be coming from the first floor, at least from Finka's side of things, and yeah, from Finka's side of things, as a minute and 20 is left on the clock for qvG. But again, the manpower that Loud Esports plus the fragging potential may be too much for them to handle. Juha able to get a swing onto Sergugi, takes him out, and it's just an easy kill. It's a trade though. It's an easy kill though for Juha as he just waits for the drop.
He manages to finish it off with a 2K, a very nice 2K from the on the Womai onto the Finka, and they had some potential. You know, the combo is there. It's a bit of a fraggy operator, and a boost as well, to say the least, with an ace. You know, so an ace is always good. He has a good gun, he has utility, but there wasn't the man advantage. There weren't the people there. They didn't have the control, especially with the trade-offs. Of course, the thermite being taken out was not the best side, and of course, how he was taken off as well. He managed to shoot the alibi, but then he instantly, as he gets spotted and scanned through the wall, he manages to actually jump in front of the gym window and randomly shoot through, hoping to get a kill or two, but you know, when you can be seen through the wall pretty much by pings, you don't want to do that. Most definitely not. And of course, we're going to be going back downstairs. You know, Loud won 3 in a row. They don't have much. It's either that or bar, so I think we all know what we're going to be choosing. But will qvG be able to get in that horrible situation where, you know, they split up, they let the Rooney get 1v1s, all that type of stuff? But because if Baby Shark can do another one of these clutches, it's going to be something completely new, as you know, one after another is just something that's not really brought up in comp in just in general. Especially, I mean, qvG yet again, they always have a very good start. They get the first pick, they get, you know, a very good roam clear, they get a lot of map control, but they can't continue the momentum. They can't keep it up, and that's what mostly comp is about. You want to keep up that momentum of, you know, getting frags, being in the style, being in the mood, all that type of stuff, but they just fall off after the first minute or two.
That's basically it. They got the first pick last round, and then with that, it's like a stack of dominoes. And once a little bit of wind or a little bit of air is like you put onto those dominoes or whatever, those dominoes tend to fall, and that's what qvG are right now. The first still doesn't go into qvG's favor like it has been for the last few rounds. Sir Googie is the first to fall, and that's your Finka off the board. So no more adrenal surges, no more Gone 6, no more nothing for this defensive side, and they've lost most of their attacking power or most of their firepower in Sergugi, but they also lose a hard breacher in the process. Breezy falling, and the qvG just don't look like they're in a good spot at the moment. Again, a 3v4. Juha is on very, very low HP. I'm not sure exactly what that HP is, and Lasmo is also put down to a lot of HP as well. Loud over aggressive. So on these qvG guns, and for the most part, they have SMGs against the assault rifle, so it's not something that they should be doing, especially since they do have the main advantage. Now Lasmo and Juha are going to be left weaker for future gunfights, but again, they are in a good spot. They don't have a lot of utility on the board to delay this attack, really not in terms of like smoke grenades, because they don't have a smoke. They also don't have a nitro cell. The only thing that they have in terms of explosive power, Loud, is an impact nade, a single impact nade that Matex has, but I don't think that's going to be used for anything too important. Now Lasmo does fall since he was on very low HP, and there goes F2 as well to get the second. So qvG, despite having the early man disadvantage, fights their way back into this round.
You know, they're going to be switching roles. It seemed like Loud had a very good start here, but qvG's going to be turning the tides, to say the least. I mean, the very nice flick on the head. That's going to be another one. A triple kill for F2. Will he be able to get the quad? Yes, he does. The Thermites player will be getting off with a quad kill and actually kind of clutching up like Baby Shark did, but in a similar sense to say the least, but not in the same way. Now, that's going to be the first round going over to qvg. That's going to be round 4 onto their side. We're going on to round 5, and next round is going to be the final one before we actually go to red rose. So, we're going to be having to see how qvg fends off on defense, as maybe they're just a lot more comfortable there. Now, we're going to be going back downstairs. Loud wants to give it another chance. They don't want to go to cc, but they want to, have another try. They did well, especially with the start. So that if they can just keep it up in mind and even leave that to themselves, they should be able to win church without a doubt. But they have a very good
Attackers
start.
need to locate and defuse as many
When
bombs
with
as
the
they
role
can.
swap happens, they can't be in the negative. They can only be 3-3 or a better score. So being on defense, this is what you want. If they can secure one more round, they're completely fine. It seems like they'll be in a very good position to continue off, especially on this map. And this is qvg's map. So for how they've started, it is most likely to say it's not good. The two map, they could have been at 3-1 themselves if they just played a bit more together, played off each other as well,
10
and
seconds
had
left
the
before
momentum to
insertion.
keep it going. But they didn't seem to keep that up and just, wanted to play a bit
5
more
seconds remaining.
goofy, you could say.
And not wanting to retry.
Attackers are moving
Want
out to
now
locate
how
bombs.
these sports wanting to retry this basement site again, not being so successful in the last round before this in round 4. In the very first round they did play on this was their primary site as they started off this map as they started out clubhouse, but then after it wasn't really the best of holds from them, in my honest opinion. It was off of that they won that site off of some heroics from Baby Shark in the 1v4 clutch where he got the quad kill against qvg, who again had some questionable post plant positionings for a majority of that matchup, and again isolated those 1v4s, those 1v1s against Baby Shark, which you don't do because he's a fragger and he hits his shots like that. And he proved to qvg in that first round exactly why you don't do what you just did. As I say that, who else hits their marks? Well, Lasmo does. Is he takes out Creed. That's the Ash off of the board, and that's so much destruction ability taking away from this QVG side. Ash isn't really. I don't really like the Ash pick all that much. I understand why, but Zophia's just a little bit better in that department, especially when you're trying to clear the top 4 roamers. Those concussive grenades help out so much in clearing out a player from a single room. Instead of opting in for a Zofia like teams usually would, because we are in an LMG meta, they instead go for an Ash pick, which again I'm just not too convinced by. I haven't seen the Ash be that effective in these rounds. I understand what she's here for, to bring extra firepower for QVG, but right now Creed, who's only been on Ash for a majority of these rounds, hasn't been that effective
Attackers
on
have
her. So I
dropped the
think
bomb
a role
diffuser.
change might be a thing for QVG to consider
A
in
bomb has been
these next few
defused.
rounds, especially the next round after this, where it'll be the last round before the actual round switch. But here goes a trade from QVG as they get one onto Baby Shark, but that man, or that even man count is quickly taken away from them from Juha, who's been really decent in this game, going 4-4.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like Creed is just one
Attackers
of those
recover
players
the
that's
diffuser.
an average Ash enjoyer, you could say. Guys are actually taking a lot of damage from the multi on main stairs, but she won't be taking them out. So let's actually, I think Creed is probably just an average Ash enjoyer. He knows Sophia is better, but he still likes Ash more and he prefers her, even though he's not doing the best. He wants to keep at his pride of an Ash player. So let's just keep it to him, as another kill is going to be transferred from Imi all the way off to F2. F2 being the hot hand of the last round. He was getting taken out pretty quickly. Sir Googie, I guess you could say. I don't want to butcher that name too much, but he gets taken out as the SMG-11 comes into play with Lasmo's second kill. Gazel right now being the last one alive. He's just trying to
15
see if any
seconds to
flanks
go.
come in. He peeks at the exact time for someone to peek him back,
10 seconds
but it's not
remaining.
going to be happening as he's in a 1v4 predicament trying to get a kill. He actually manages to take out the Jaeger, but without finishing him, there will be an SMG-11 and a triple kill onto Lazo's side. So very well, nice play, and making it to 4-1 for Team Loud. They won one more round, and all they need to do is win 2 attacker rounds, and they should be fine. As this is actually getting very close for Loud side. They seem to be a lot more dominant. They seem to have a lot more momentum. Keep them, I guess you could say. They want to win this, and they're working hard for it. QVG just seems to be, goofing around a bit more than the usual, but they're still putting up a good fight. But just that positioning, just the first 2 rounds, I still believe it could have been quite a good victory for their side. But that's in the past. So let's actually talk about the present, and we're gonna be seeing we're going to be seeing yet
Attackers
again
need to
an
locate and
upstairs hold.
defuse as
It's
many
going to be
bombs as
not
they
CC.
can.
I'm surprised it's not CC. It's going to be Jim, which was a lot closer for Team Loud. CC was one yet again just because maybe a Finka boost was missing, maybe because three people are down on the same floor pretty much. And with that in mind, they're going to be going Jim with closer. Jim was absolutely dominant. It was a 2v4 at the end or something like that. And of course, with the Wamai finishing it off, it did actually get closer to that than CC. So,
Attackers have
they feel
discovered
a
the
bit more
location of a
comfortable
bomb.
here, most definitely. So,
10 seconds to
yeah, we're
go.
gonna have to see what qvG can pull out of their pants to actually win this.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, QVG not in a in a
Attackers are
real
heading
good
out to
spot right
defuse a
now on
bomb.
the scoreboard. Also, not having the best of seasons compared to what they've had last season, where they finished first in Major League. Now that first place position is going to be retired from them and is in Praetorian's hands only at the moment. Who looks like the best team in the Major League at the moment in season 7. QVG kind of fell off the mark just a little bit. And if they lose this game, well, I don't know what their qualifications for the Champion Series will look like, but I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty dire for them, as that's one of the many series that they're going to look to claim this season. They are a good team. They have that potential, but at the moment it's not really showing, because we're seeing them, like you said, just goof off in a lot of these rounds, where even when they do get the man advantage, even when it looks good for them, somehow they manage to throw it. They get a little bit trolly, and it just happens, to the best of them. But at the moment, again, QBG not in a real good spot. But at the start of this round, they are Maddox is taking off the board, and that's the Rooney down. So that takes a bit of extra firepower away from QVG, or not QVG, sorry, Loud Esports, and that's the MK14 for Loud Esports off of the board too. And again, Aruni known as a powerful fragging operator, and they won't have that no more. But her utility for the most part has been placed, so it's not too much to worry about. But it's a big kill nonetheless for QBG. But how many times have we seen them get the first pick in the round, and then their executes just fall short?
To
Ooh.
be quite exact, I do believe it was about 4 rounds, but as we talk about, Creed is going to be taken out with Juha, so that's going to be a Womai and Yash both taken out the board. Yet again, Creed doesn't seem to be, liking as how he's playing Yash. He may be a comfortable Ash player, but he's definitely not doing as surprising as thought on her. He's sticking to the role, but he's not picking it off well, as Breezy actually does take quite a hefty amount of damage, and it's a 3v4, so will PvZ be able to make it to, again, another round for them? It would benefit them, to say the least. On defense, it would go probably a lot better, as this is a defender side, especially Clubhouse has been in the game such a long time. It's not hard to attack, but it's still defender sided and favored, especially stats and all the history behind Clubhouse. It just comes all down to defenders. Now, of course, it's 30 seconds right now, and they have barely begun their execute. And with 30 seconds on the clock, this is not what you want. They still have actually a lot of players alive, but as one gets taken down, that's going to be a 4v2. The Hibana both down, and one more, that's going to be the Finka. Will she be able to get herself up? It's a 3v, actually a 2v2, thinking with the Finka of being down. Breezy jumps in, tries to defend her, and of course, with 8 seconds on the clock, it's going to be taken down real quick. They need to take challenges quickly, as Lasmo gets a double kill, downing the Buck, and Imi with a double as well, and a pistol in hand. He manages to pick off the third. That's going to be a clutch yet again. It was a 2v4 situation, and two people got down instantly, making it 2v3. One got up. It was a 2v3, and then Imi with a pistol in hand and an unstoppable force. He decided, you know what? I'll be taking you out this round. It's always been a Naruni, but I do believe it's time to swap roles a bit.
Yep. Mentioned that a few rounds ago, and I feel like that speaks true as to right now. As for me, QVG haven't done enough adjustments to what Loud have brought on their defenses, and that's why they're at a 5-1 deficit. They consisted with the same lineup, they persisted with the same pushes. The executes didn't work out, and they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna still try the same thing over and over again. And you know what? The definition of insanity is that if doing the same thing over and over again and it just not working, that's what QBG are right now. They are the definition
Defenders,
of
protect your
insanity.
bombs from
Now
being
going
defused
onto
by
their
attackers.
defenses, hopefully we see more adjustments coming from them. But with a 5-1 lead, this game could be over quick if Loud Esports play their cards right.
You bringing up insanity does give me a bit of a giggle, calling the players insane pretty much. But they're trying their goofy strategy. May not be goofy, but it's most certainly not working out for them, at least for now, as the role swap that happened. So qvG
Bomb
maybe getting
located
a
by
bit of an
attackers.
uprising, a bit of a hotter hand, a bit of a golden chance, you could say, on the defensive side. Now, if they manage to keep up with it, win all these 6
10
rounds,
seconds left.
which is it's a small chance to say, at least for how they've
5
been
seconds
performing,
remaining.
but it's not impossible now that they manage to, get a bit more
Attackers
serious,
are
at least
heading
from
out to
what we're
defuse the
seeing.
bomb.
They should be able to do it. It's not a 0% chance. It never can be. Now, of course, we already see a qvG Malusi on, actually, Harry Potter, I believe the call out is, but of course, will
A bomb has
Loud
been
be actually
located.
taking Garrett's side? It doesn't seem so, as they're trying to push a bit more of a split push. They're going on the move. They're going to take it out Jacuzzi. They're going to cover the map like you usually want to. You don't want to leave too much roamers hanging, as for post-plan situation, that's going to be a bit of a thorn to deal with, especially with, of course, roamers most of the time having better guns than the rest of the defending side. Now, with the age dropping, it's going to be, if what the first pick is going to be going on to Gazo, yet again, it's the first pick onto Loud, and qvG's not doing the best. It's going to be the Jaeger of the team, but an instant refrag from F2 onto the Twitch. Baby Shark out of the match, off the board, and Creed still roaming into bar side. It's been a minute, and they still need to clear out a roaming and cheeky bandit. Creed on the first, or actually second floor, should I say. And he's going to be ready there, and he's going to be for a challenge with a flick onto Finka's head. That's going to be a double kill from F2 with the SMG-11. God, indeed. And where are we going to be continuing on from here, 1B?
With a nice kill, and he's able to get away with this life office that I don't know if you saw it, but Juha literally prepped a
Attackers
hole
dropped the
from on the
diffuser.
office wall, and he wasn't able to catch F2 off on that. F2 actually he gets another too, so Lasmo's off the board. That's your harbinger done. But from what I could tell from the sound cues, he did get most of his job done, or a little bit of his job done, to the point where Loud couldn't work off of this. And again, what we saw qvG do on their attacks, Loud are doing on theirs. They get the first pick, but then their executes kind of fall short, and they're not able to properly clear out the players that they desperately need to worry about. One of those players is going to be Creed, and he's finally taken out, yes, but now Juha in the 1v4 situation. Well, what can he do here? He can only go for frags. He does have 2 frag grenades to help him out in this clutch. There goes the opportunity for him. Are there any drones set up? No, but his shots hit! And F2 and Sir Googie fall. Breezy now in the 1v1. Well, if there's a time for you to come big, you better come now. But if this grenade hits, no, he flicks it off at the last second. He is going to put a grenade up on the top of the red stairs. Where Breezy is heading, not 1B, but Ramai has to clutch this out. And if Juha plays his cards right, again, we could see a clutch come, a 1v4 clutch from a Loud Esports player, not Baby Shark, but Juha this time. They're playing around each other. Breezy again at the top of the red stairs probably has made his way into cash at this
15
point.
seconds remaining.
And Breezy, he's on the top of rapids, making some sledge holes, but the shot's still not hit for Juha. And it is Breezy to close out the round for qvG. That looks so scary. The AUG versus the, oh my god, the AUG versus the
God.
L5. And like you would bet on the L5 to win it in that round. I just don't know how qvG almost do that.
The guns were decently close, but the L95 still has a bigger advantage, and Breezy didn't want to get clutched on again. It happened 2 or 3 times, but he said no. It's not happening again, and he denied it with Rafters actually being shot out by the Wamai himself. That's going to be another round going on to qvG, making it 5-2 for Loud. So, if Loud win one more round, qvG will be fighting for all or nothing. They'll be fighting for 4 rounds in a row, and if they win one of
Attackers
those,
need to
actually
locate
lose
and
one of
defuse
those,
as many
it's going to
bombs
be
as
over
they
for this
can.
map. Now, of course, with that in mind, Breezy, very nice, well played. Of course, it still surprises me how qvG always managed to do this. It's a bit of a surprise. They all rushed in on him. They all died. Of course, Breezy was there to save the day. Like, I guess you could call him Superman of qvG right there. But if he wasn't there, what would have happened? What if he died? What if, let's say, a smoke was exactly a smoke on long range, let's say, with an SMG-11 against an L85? It's just, it would just been kind of a
10
sad
seconds to
fight.
go.
And of course, thanks to Breezy that didn't manage going to that solution,
Five
but
seconds left.
it was still way too close for comfort. And I feel like I don't want
Attackers
to,
must
be
locate and defuse
rude
a
or any
bomb.
way, but I feel like qvG is not taking this match seriously at all. I feel like they're just goofing around and just trying to play for fun, like this is, an unranked match.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I would assume that every match they would take very, very seriously, and if they don't take this seriously, they could find themselves not calling for the champion series. Of course, I don't know what other leagues they're involved in if they take this tournament of talent league seriously, and if they just take other tournaments seriously. I don't really know the stakes for it. Again, I don't really I'm only focused on what happens in Talent League. And right now, QVG, they're in fifth place and Loud are in third. And if they lose this game, there is a good chance that they might not even make the champion series, and they might find themselves finishing in a mid-table position. Though for Loud Esports, their main focus in this round is going to be the first floor. Sir Googie should be easily isolated here, and his rotation should be cut off. But no, he persists in kitchen, but his position is going to be droned out. And well, Loud, where do they take it from here? There's so many different angles against Sir Googie, and so many easy ways to cut the bait off. You have Juha, who's cutting off his rotation from hallway, but he gets one. Baby Shark is down, and that's a lot of smokes. Also, the zoning for the attack off of the board once they do get that post plant positioning. There is a quick trade though from Juha, and that does take Sir Googie out finally. But that is your Capital off of the board, and for the most part, Capital, he does bring those hard breach utilities plus smokes plus the fires, and that's a lot of utility now gone for the attackers.
Urgoki with a very nasty shot onto the kitchen window. He actually managed to try and get a bit of position, but gets taken out in the swell by the sledge. Actually, the sledge kind of caught him off guard, caught him in
A bomb
4K,
has been
and he did
located.
not allow anything like that. So he got a refrag. HP may not be looking favored over to Loud, but it's almost like nothing as he is. It's just a bit low, and there's going to be some impacts coming in. Creed taking some damage himself. He may have gotten rid of the impacts, but a lot of summons have actually been taken out. Breezy right now with a very cheeky run out. It seems like he's ready for a plan. He actually could take out the sledge of the team. He actually does so, and that's going to be another kill going over to Breezy's handle of Breezy's stock. Of course, Lasmo there to try and refract. Will not be able to, as Breezy is going to be backing off. He got the man advantage. He got what he needed,
Attackers
and
have
he got
located a
what he
bomb.
came for. He's going to be backing off, and as we're clutching into this round, it's 20 seconds on the clock. Smokes are starting to come out, and Smoke can hold one angle, and he should be completely fine. There's no heartbeat on the kitchen side, and of course they're starting to push into Ruins. The Smoke is still holding bottom main. A Breeze is going to be getting a kill onto the Ace, but that's going to be a double kill, joined by Gazo and F2, and he's going to be finishing it off. And with back, actually, qvG back into the round, back into their style, and we're going to be getting a bit of a tactical timeout. So, Welby, are we expecting, or are we at least maybe seeing a bit of a comeback for qvG? You think they're going to be managing to start pulling their weight a bit more?
After two rounds in a row, it'll be hard to dispute and say no. I think QVG do have a good chance of coming back, especially since they are on the more favored side of defense on Clubhouse. For Loud, the main issue, at least in that round, wasn't really the first pick. Saragugi just got a nice, I would say a lucky headshot, but it was a nice flick onto the head of the Capitan. Again, that took a lot of utility off of the board, not just the smokes, not just the fires, which have insane spread, but also took out the hard breach utility that the Capital does bring with him. And again, they didn't. There wasn't, at least from what I saw when we were flicking on players POVs and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of hard breach utility. Um, Sorry, there wasn't a lot of hard breaching from Loud Esports. There wasn't no real good map control for them, and if they had when they did have map control for the most part, they didn't take advantage for it. They had control of the whole first floor, and Moto hatch was still not popped. The kitchen hatch for most of that round was still not popped, and I think all of the players are ready. But again, the main issue for both of these teams, because it's not just Loud who are struggling with this. QVG, when we saw them have, I don't know how many rounds on attack where they got got the man advantage. They got the first pick going in their favor.
Defenders, protect your
Their
bombs from being
executes
defused by attackers.
just have not been convincing whatsoever. So hopefully Loud Esports can find the connecting factor here in this round, especially after that tech timeout, where they do get to talk. I'm pretty sure they get to talk with everybody, including their coach, about what's going on, what's going wrong, and what can we do to fix it in this next round. And again, this is CCTV Cache, which is going to be, I think the this is going to be the tertiary site for qvG. Again, primary was CCTV Cache, then the second site after that was basement, and now this is the
10
third
seconds
site that
left.
they're going on. And in this round, what we didn't see from qvG that
5 seconds
or
remaining.
what we didn't see from Loud that qvG are bringing is the mirror, so that should be
Attackers' objective
interesting. And
is to
also
locate a
Frost,
bomb
I
and
really
defuse
do
it.
like the Frost pick.
Yeah, most definitely. I was gonna say you actually took it out of my mouth, but Frost a very unique pick, especially in high ranks or comp just in general. Frost is very unexpected, just like a Capcan, very strong and also underestimated. You don't, when you go into a gunfight or you walk into, you're most focused on trying to take out a player. You're trying to see if there's anyone hiding there, and if there's going to be a Frost on the floor and you're looking to try and get a pick onto someone, you're you're just you're doomed. You have not much of a choice. As a frost trap or the bear trap, as you'd call it, or maybe even a human trap, what do I know? It's gonna be picking you off and actually snipping those feet off of you. Now, of course, with that in mind, we're gonna be probably seeing some of that in action. At least let's hope so. It's very interesting to see a
Attackers have
frost kill,
located a
as a
bomb.
finka cannot get you out of it. You will have to be revived manually, and there's no easy way out of it. Now, of course, Imi is trying to get a bit of a pick. He's trying to, get play from below. He has wasted already all his nades. But talking about picks, that's going to be the first one going over to Alibi side, and this is going to be a very good pick. Finka is a very strong operator. Of course, with the boost not fully used, she could have still had a decent amount of potential. Now, that's going to be Imi also getting dropped into Lounge, but that's going to be getting another finisher over to Alibi side by, of course, the man himself. And Creed is going to be getting taken out of the match. It's a 3v4 situation, and we're going to have to see how Loud actually
Located by
fare up
attackers.
against this. Loud are going to need to actually start, gathering their resources, start taking a bit more control, as there's still a lot of roamers. Main stairs is still controlled, and actually, so it seems to be blue. Everything is under control, and all they have right now is a bit of bar and a bit of, third floor. After taking a lot of damage, very hefty. No Thunderbird or Doc to pat him on the back and get him back. He's just gonna have to play a bit more safe, or manage to actually get a headshot first. And Breezy with a C4 kill onto Baby Shark. That's gonna be hot out of the match. Of course, Laszlo right now being alone with Juha or Yuha, whatever you want to call him. I don't want to butcher the name too much. So yeah, a 2v4 F2 does seem to get actually. I believe that was a reset. So what will Loud be able to do in a 2v4 situation where they are literally pinched in? They have not much control, and they have not much utility wastage or wasted utility themselves. They're in kind of a predicament, you could say.
Yeah, no. Again, 2v4 situation. M2 is on very low HP, so there goes the positive for Loud, but that's probably the
15 seconds
only
left.
diamond in the rough that they have for them. But okay, here comes another diamond. Lasmo
10
able to get a
seconds
kill onto
remaining.
Breezy, but 10 seconds
Attackers
persist for
drop the
the
diffuser.
attackers, and they have to make their play, and they have to
5
make it now.
seconds to go.
F2 shuts down the possibilities, though, of Loud even getting a chance to win this round. Juha is struggling to find his kills,
Operators, you have
grasping
run
at
out of
straws,
time.
but he won't be able to pick one out, and it is qvG to claim their third round in a row on this defensive half. And Loud just don't have an answer to anything that QVG are bringing, but both of these teams just not having convincing attacking halves whatsoever. And not only did it show for QVG, but now it's showing for Loud Esports. Obviously, that tech timeout works in QVG's favor. It doesn't work for Loud Esports, as they had an opportunity to talk to each other. They had an opportunity to talk to their coach, but they don't use it effectively to detail what they wanted to do in that round, and what they could. I don't know, they just didn't like communicate at all, and it seems very discombobulated on their attacks.
I mean, probably the only chat they had
Attackers
was
need to
about,
locate and
let's
defuse
actually do
bombs.
this better, let's do this better specifically, let's play a bit more together as, of course, they didn't have a tactical timeout in plan. qvG, on the other hand, did have it, so they knew what to talk about, they knew directly what they needed to go over, and Loud, on the other hand, all they could do is just maybe mention some things before even getting back into the match, so not much of an option there, but they'll probably be taking it a bit more later, as qvG actually has won around three I believe it was 3 runs in a row up until this point, so if they continue that streak, they should be on a good way to
10
victory.
seconds to
Now, of
go.
course, with that in mind, Loud is not going to be letting them do that so easily, and of course, them
5
going
seconds to
CC is
go.
going to be hard to control. You have a Habana already in place, an Ace, a Sledge, a
Attackers
Yana, a
must
Finka.
locate
It's a
and
default
defuse a
loadout.
bomb.
Yet again, you can't go wrong. A lot of nades since they've been in the meta for way too long, and I absolutely love it. And with Habana and Ace, I kind of love the pick. If Habana gets taken out, you have another breacher. Same with him, Ace being taken out, you still have the Habana in hand. So, of course, you always have to have a backup. So, that's what I kind of love to see sometimes. You don't see it commonly in minor or in any types of, a bit lower teams, but it's just way too good of an opportunity to take. And qvG with Loud are both going to be taking it, as both Mai and Jaeger are still in the game. Mythox is actually going to be taken out a C4 he pre-spotted, but will Creed be expecting this shot? With the Finka being right now in pool, they're seconds away from being in, but they don't even realize that. Creed is in a pretty
Attackers have
comfortable
located a
position
bomb.
as he's being watched from main stairs, but even if the main stairs players gets taken out, he can just swing and get a kill himself, unless of course if a nade is brought up. And speak of the devil, a nade is brought up, the C4 is there, me gets a kill onto Creed, and that's going to be Ben Bandit off the match. Gets us still ready to challenge, he takes off some HP himself, and gets challenged by Diana, of course joined by the Finka. So what will our lovely Jaeger do?
He's just gonna hightail it out of there and get the hell out of Dodge. I mean, for the most part, that was a really good. I really liked that pitch from Loud Esports. And at first, I thought it was just gonna be Mad Dog solo pushing. And I mean, look at the way that they're just cutting off these rotations from qvG. But oh, F2 getting in a very aggressive position, takes out Juha, but at the cost of his own life. Gazzo is still down, and if that is communicated and if that is known by Loud, they can easily confirm that kill because nobody on qvG are anywhere near the Jaeger to be able to pick him up. Now, for V2, theoretically, because Gazo's just
Defender
going to
is
be
exposed.
bleeding out, but Sir Googie getting aggressive. I mean, because he has to get something to Baby Shark. Now 3v2. Oh my god, what the hell is happening? 2 kills go out for qvG. Nobody watching the over-aggression from not Sir Googie, but from Breezy, and Loud just get punished from it. Now Lasmo, what seemed to be a good position for Loud. Lasmo is in the 1v2. Gazzo's finally is able to be picked up, even though I didn't think he was of in a position safe enough for him to be picked up, but he is. In
Yes.
qvG, they rescued this round. I'm guessing now with 25 seconds left for Lasmo. He has full health. 2 players are very low on HP. He gets one, but he's on low HP himself. And now 10 seconds.
10
He
seconds
has to
remaining.
plant the diffuser. There is no explosive power really for qvG, but it doesn't matter when they have the guns to hit the shots the way that they do. And Loud Esports basically just handed that round to qvG, and it all started. That round was thrown from the moment they allowed that player from Red Stairs to swing and aggress onto lobby the way that he did. No punishment from Loud Esports, and they're letting qvG get away with it.
I mean, Breezy was there to bring or clear out the dust. An absolute astonishing play. He actually got a 2K without anyone being able to do anything. Of course, leaving the Ace pretty much vulnerable and alone in a 1v3 situation. He had the HP advantage, but not for long, as the impacts came in running and actually managed to
Defenders,
take off
protect your bombs
most
from
of his
being
HP.
defused by
Not quite
attackers.
all of it, but it was close enough to get Breezy a nice little snipe and a shot and a 3K at the end right there. So, qvG actually brought it back. It was 5-1, and guess where we are now? qvG standing pretty high and mighty at 5-5 with a 4-round win in a row, especially with a lot of improvement. The tactical timeout seemed to just change them. They wanted to be a bit more serious, and they actually started playing, and this is what we love to see. Yet again, Loud are still putting up a pretty
10
decent
seconds
fight. They're
remaining.
still doing what they need to, but qvG is just doing it better. They seem
5
to have
seconds
taken
left.
that tactical timeout, but will we be seeing one from Loud? Right now, they are
Attackers'
in a
objective is to locate a
dominant
bomb and defuse it.
destruction spree, I could say. Especially with qvG, you know, they're keeping up the momentum. They're just going at it round after round, and how they're playing, and they're coming back, and how they are just dominating. It's round after round. They're keeping up the momentum, and it's absolutely dominant. Now, Louds could actually break up that momentum with a rehost, with a tactical timeout. You know, a rehost wouldn't be really necessary unless there's someone disconnected, anything like that. But with a tactical timeout, they could still, you know, talk things through, break the momentum maybe, and get back into their own position. So with that in mind, actually, Mathox actually took a bit of HP, so I wonder from where he is going to be getting a bit of a gunfight pretty soon brought over to him. And as soon as we speak of the devil, it's going to be the Thunderbird Creed. Creed will be taking out the Finca, but there's going to be a who's gonna say I'm me? Yes. The Yana player getting a bit of a refrag into an instant headshot,
Attackers have
as of course the
located a bomb.
Finca will be taken off the board, a very important role, and Thunderbird has already done her job. She got one of the important operatives out of the match, and of course she still has healing turrets on the floor, so she does. I believe Thunderbird pretty much did her job at this point.
I mean, you put your Thunderbird in aggressive positions, or well, you usually see like not only T4 team students, but also T1 teams in Pro League, etc., etc., Challenger leagues, and even NA, etc., etc. Do this all the time with their Thunderbird because they know they can afford to not lose a Thunderbird necessarily, but they know they can afford to put a Thunderbird in an aggressive position just because of her ability to use the condensations. If she does take a lot of damage, she has that opportunity to rotate back into sight, get the Kona stations to heal her, and then is able to rotate back upstairs onto the second floor where she can return to position yet again. But now she's down and out for the count. And well,
Bomb
Loud
has been
Esports,
located.
they're okay. I was gonna say they're not in a bad position, but they are now. Juha is down, but and that's Sophia too. So that's a big gun off of the board, as well as a lot of utility in the form of Sophia. But Aimi gets a nasty shot through the smoke. This dude is nasty. He gets F2 through the F2's own smoke. Now 40 seconds left though for the attackers, and oh my god, this could be huge as well. Esports are not none the wiser. Gazo takes out Lasmo. That's the
Attackers have
fuser
recovered their
down, but
diffuser.
it's very close to Aimi, who ends up getting that refrag. 25 seconds left for the attackers to make a play. And again, the fuser has been picked up. The drop
15
comes
seconds
out
left.
from Aimi, who belly flops into sight. And Baby Shark soon has to follow to
seconds
get
to
that
go.
diffuser down, as only 10 seconds remain. There's a player from Dirt. There's a
5
player
seconds
behind
to go.
Guns. There goes a quad kill though from Aimi, who's overwatching the play. He knows where the last player is, and it's an ace from the Ayana. Aimi clutching up that round for Loud Esports as they take their first attacking round in the half. That is something that I didn't think I would be saying, especially with the momentum that they gained from their defenses.
Now, qvG in this position are going to be fighting for all or nothing to win this round. If they do not win this round, they're actually going to be losing. So if right now all they can do is going to time, but that's the only shot they have at this. Now, Loud with a very dominant play. Jaeger right now could have just backed off. He could have taken out the Hibana, went back to site, and it would have been completely fine. But he wanted more. He wanted the greed, and he actually was close to it, but not close enough, as the Sledge and Diana are going to be comboing up. And Aimi with a devastating ace, to say the least, get flanked, denied a flank himself, especially with, of course, securing the diffuser and all that type of
Protect your bombs
hand.
from being
He's going to be
defused by
getting
attackers.
the last shot, a pre-fire onto the Malusi, and that's going to be a good round indeed. Now, going back into Gym, we don't see, we're actually going to be seeing a Castle for the first time in play. A very interesting operator, and especially strong on this site. Castle is very commonly picked, very commonly used, and very common to be getting on Gym. Now, of course, with that in mind, he can secure a lot of positions. He can let a bandit trick in peace, of course, with an ADS in mind, and all that type of stuff. But it seems like they won't be using him just as that. You know, Creed did actually, or the Castle did actually get buffed,
5
not
seconds left
actually
before
quite a
insertion.
decent while ago. He has 4 Castle barricades, and he could just put them over the barricades. Back in the old days, you had to break the barricade to put it down. So, you know, with that buff, it's it's a pretty unique buff, especially with the Rook one as well. You know, you don't need to actually put the armor down and then specifically pick it up, but you can just pick it up in one animation. So, you know, these types of buffs are actually quite nice to see. Thank you very much, Rainbow Six Siege. But with that in mind, we're going to be going on to what is potentially or could be the last round of Clubhouse. Now, qvG did pick this map, so if they actually manage to lose this, it is not going to be looking great for them at all. Now, with that in mind, let's see what actually qvG can manage to, you know, fend off or do to secure at least an overtime match.
Yep, this is the thing though for qvG. Their attacking half could make or break this map, and for the most part, that looks to be the case. Juha able to get the first pick into this round, and that's Gazzo down and out for the count. Gazzo going 7-9, not having the worst of games, but not having the best neither. And certainly, he was, I feel like, a little bit better on the attacking halves when qvG needed him. But again, qvG lost that half 5-1, so there's not a lot of positivity that they can take from that attacking half, since this was their map pick, so they should have been a little bit more prepared for it. But it seems that they weren't. Loud Esports clearly brought the heat to them on the defense, and qvG's weren't prepared for the aggression or the firepower that Loud Esports had. Now, another kill goes into Loud Esports' favor, and Loud Esports look to take their opponent's map pick as well as their own to get the full 3 points to propel them up into second place. The minor league team who just got promoted this season, looking to extend their positions and looking to better their season, as they've had a good season so far in the major leagues, especially for a team that's so new against talent that is, well, a little bit better than the minor league talents, and they've completely flipped that narrative on its head. But though qvG, they have a bright spot. Juha is down and out for the count. Juha has had some pretty influential rounds as well, going 10-10. But this goes from bad to worse for qvG. 2 down. Now 50 seconds remain for the attackers. They have all the map control that they need. This is more than enough time for them to work with. But if Creed keeps hitting his shots like that, Loud Esports might be in a lot of trouble. Breezy on full health, Creed on very, very low HP, and 35 seconds left for the attackers to make something work here. For the most part, the positioning for the attackers are outside of the main windows. And, well, one player persists in cash, and they only got 25 seconds left, or else qvG, we could see overtime.
Yeah, Creed not looking the best on his HP. He actually gets taken out. The double kill from Lasmo on right now. Breezy alone with a shot and no C4 in hand. He's gonna have to push a post-plant situation with a 1v3, an SMG-11 and a Dream. He manages to take off one, a nasty headshot, but will he be able to get the two? And not so much, as the Ace will be finishing him off. And that's gonna be the first round, 7-5, going over to Loud Esports. And it seemed like qvG's map was lost due to early start unpositioning, to say the least. But
it was mainly due to the fact that their attacking half was so poor. And it's not to say that Loud had an even better attacking half. Their attacking half, for the most part, was poor. That match on Clubhouse was mainly dependent on who could do better on attack. And it just seemed that Loud, once that fourth round in a row was claimed by qvG, Loud Esports seemed to have woken up a bit. And I mean, it started off with an ace in the round before the last one, I think. I can't remember which round
it
that
is
was. I think it
correct,
was
yes.
round 11, I believe, or
It was I
round.
me with an ace, correct.
Yeah, it was I me. I know it was I me. I was just out. I don't know which round it was. But again, that round just seemed to spearhead Loud Esports into a position of power where they took their own opponent's map pick, and now heading into their own, they're looking pretty strong. And, well, what is the next map? It's Bank. We haven't seen Bank in a while, but we will see it after this short break, so stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Control here. He's actually on blue with the diffuser, so they can't plant yet. They have got the site control, but they haven't got the diffuse. He's pushed behind. Gorgo's got a 2K! What's going on? He gets a kill. Mathos gets the plant behind. Gorgo plant's going down behind the blue Palliers, but he doesn't know where they are. Plant's going down. He doesn't see him. Mathos is just looking at denial. impact tricking at this point. But actually, the plant's going down. Prophet gets a kill onto Lance, it's a 5 versus 3 situation. But I don't think they actually realise the plant's going down. Yes, the plank has actually gone down. Gecko gets a kill with the impact. And make that a 5.
You found some picks, and they're probably not in the best position to get that plant down anyway. But a wonderful opening pick onto Hunter the Thorn off the table, and this is going to give him the signal to flood on in upstairs. He's already taken that bar present, taken that control. No rotate between these two sites, but the Vault player is swinging into his domain. Bar on a double kill shuts down Spliz, and he's going to be looking for even more. P13 takes some damage on red stairs. He's going to be forced to pull back, but Critical, he's the next one to take on the challenge. And Bart, a triple kill. There's no stopping him now when this is
maybe a small peek now. I did hear barricades being taken out, but that is the shield already gone. He has to be careful here forever of where he's peeking. The first kill bomb.
There's a refrapping onto the Goyo. There's no time left for the plant. It has to be Havana now, so it's basically a 1v3 for Avoc. Avoc does not even survive, and now they get denied as well. It's
Walking closet here. Very risky position to be in with that right side hole being opened. And more importantly, left side of that triple wall also being opened. Zarok gets the first kill onto Raku. They've got the angles from Humble Academy. That walking closet is almost immediately there. A bit aggressive Devon Strucer as Zarek manages to find him out, but Jason, he's down to 10 HP. He's just taking damage from every single position here, and he's got 35 seconds to make something work. He's going to go from this contact. It's a beautiful kill onto Case in there. Triple kill on the bound. Will he be able to find the 4th kill for the clutch? 30 seconds, they're just dancing around. Just a lot of damage onto Bar. It's all up to this situation. They're both one shot. One shot will finish this round. Oh, Bart's just going to hide in this corner. Will he get the kill? Yes, he does. Sour gets the 4K clutch.
Welcome back to Talent League. Welcome back to Talent League QVG versus Loud Esports. And if you weren't here for the first map, boy, do we have a tale for you. QVG picked Clubhouse and they lost it. So just as fitting is that. But we head onto Loud Esports' own map pick, and Loud Esports might be looking to win that. But will we see what we saw on Clubhouse with QVG claiming their own map pick? QVG losing their own map pick. I'm 1B, or I'm still 1B, joined by my co-caster who is still here, Puffer Bob. And after the first map, well, what are you looking for in terms of improvements from not only QVG since they lost that map, but we also saw some weak points from Loud Esports as well?
Well, definitely, I think QVG had a very good start most of the rounds, or either it was one team getting the first pick, but it was Loud most of the time that could keep up the momentum. While QVG did have, of course, a bit of a timeout. They had a tactical timeout, and they talked on about it. They talked through, and they actually started getting better. They almost made a comeback, actually managing to come out 7-5, one round away. It came out down to one round away from match. Actually, match point. And of course, with that in mind, let's hope QVG and Loud both had their time. They had their time most definitely, and let's hope they took it to talk things through. Now, of course, the adaptation is going to be a lot more common, especially with just in general experience, or I guess you could say how they performed, because the first round it was a bit weak from both teams to say the least. We do have both teams ready though, so actually let's head into the map of Loud. Now, with that in mind, it's going to be very tough to decide. Both of the teams are probably going to be a bit better with the chat they had and all that type of stuff. So actually, what are your predicted bets?
What am I predicting? Is that was that the question?
For operators, yes. What do
Oh,
you?
for operator bans, I don't really expect anything different. I've seen, you know what? I've seen some funky bans before where people have banned like Nook, where they've banned Zero before. Zero is a very important pick on this map, so it's not. I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw again a Thatcher. Thatcher's really powerful in this map. I don't expect him to go unseen in the ban phase. Another ban that I'm expecting is probably going to be a hard breacher, whether that be Ace or Habano. One of those two could not see their play, not see themselves being played inside this matchup. But I wouldn't be surprised if Loud brought out something a little bit different. This is a little bit different, but Flores is your average ban on every single map, not just Bank. You see him banned a lot on Chalet. You see him banned a lot on Oregon as well, just because of the potential of his ability to clear out utility all with one Rotero drone. Mira's not surprising neither, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Valkyrie camera. Valkyrie, of course, with how big of a bank map is, especially in the main lobby area, it's easier to hide her cameras and it's easier for them to not be spotted out from its attackers. So of course she is going to see herself be banned as well. So we say bye bye to the American operator, but hello to Bank itself as we find ourselves back in the US of A at the Prestige National Bank. And it's Loud Esports' map pick too. But QVG, they start on the defense, Loud starting off on the attack, and we do the zero pick as I've mentioned. He's found his mainstay on this map.
Most definitely. I feel like dynamic duo not getting banned off. English is hard, don't you agree? But the dynamic duo of Cade and Thatcher is not going to be getting removed, as Cade is quite important. Now, especially on downstairs, with the hatches being actually quite a big part of the hold in general. If it's either that or you have to extend up into the third floor, up into the second floor. You have to have a lot more of an aggressive play. So with the gate not being banned, it's not necessary to be so aggressive. While the map still gives you that
Defenders,
option with
protect your
how
bombs from being
large it is.
defused
You have
by
three
attackers.
whole floors to completely roam through. So, if there's at least one roamer somewhere hidden and they spot him, it's going to take a hell of a lot of time to actually take him out. Especially on the attacking side, you need to drone, and if it's a vigil, it's even harder than that. But quite an interesting pick I see right now, especially from Methox's side. It's going to be Nook. I feel like Nook is one of those more, I guess, sometimes underestimated characters or operators, may you
Bomb
say.
located by
Now, the
attackers.
thing with Nook is she has nades. Okay, yes, she's good. Her gun may not be the best, but the
10
utility
seconds to
that
insertion.
allows you to pretty much jump into set without anyone noticing almost is just
5
completely
seconds to go.
insane. She's like a Caveran visual into one, and with that combo on the
Attackers
attacking
objective
side,
is to
it
defuse
kind
the
of
bomb.
gives you a huge advantage with, taking out roamers, getting into places and clearing out rooms. And with that in mind, Creed was quite close to getting this
Defender has been
a
destroyed.
spawn peak, and
Attackers drop
spawn
the
peaks
diffuser.
aren't that common in comp, especially with actually Creed managing to get one onto Hibana out of all operators, a very important hard breacher, and with a sadly the Zero does have hard breach devices. There is a bit of a secondary, but if he gets taken out, you can say goodbye to hatches as the Nook taking that
Attackers have recovered.
and taking it out to Legion. So that's going to be a bit of a refrag. And Oryx, the GOAT of the team, will be there to challenge anyone, with Jaeger or anything like that. So it's a bit of a very heavy roam strategy.
Loud losing their Abana early on and now having to depend on Yuha of all operators that you have to depend on for hard utility. It's not really the Zero with two hard utilities. I'd be saying the same thing if this were Buck with two hard breach utilities. Just because of how important hard breaching is on a map like Bank, especially with how important the hatches are on this basement site, and you need the Habana to stay alive for as long as possible. Though speaking of staying alive as long as possible, it looks like qvG on his first floor hold are crumbling, and that's where all three of their players are. F2 does manage to find a pick in the meantime, but look at how close Gazzo is to Baby Shark. He's very low on HP, so if he takes a direct gunfight with Baby Shark, especially considering the Theta does have an LMG in hand, he might find himself dying, but he doesn't because he attacks him at the right moment. Surprise attack onto the Finkas, another one for F2, who aggresses onto this loud attack. And Juha, the only one with the kill on, the only one with the kill on his team apart from Mattox, is going to have to clutch it up in a 1v3 situation if he can. He is full of HP, whereas Gazzo is very low. The two other players on qvG also having full health, but he is being spotted out by the Echo Drone and being stunned as well. He does find one onto Gazzo, but again, that's expected when Gazzo is taking a direct gunfight against an assault rifle with how low he is. Now a 1v2. It is F2 versus F2 and Breezy versus Juha. The Echo Drones versus the Echo Drones partnered with the smoke grenades versus Juha against the Zero, and he's already going to work onto these hatches. And this is what the Habana was for, but since Habana's dead and so are the rest of his teammates, he's gonna have to depend on himself in these in this 1v2 clutch. He doesn't have any teammates to help him. Now smoke grenades go out. Echo drones are still online. He's spraying, he's spraying, he's trying to find a shot onto these qvG players, but instead he's gonna opt out for the plant. No, he's gonna bait it. He's gonna get into a gunfight with F2, who gets a 3k in that round, and it is qvG to take the first round of Bank.
I mean, most of us here were waiting for just some sort of a clutch again and hoping for qvG to not repeat the mistakes they did on Clubhouse in the early rounds. Now, with that not happening, qvG is going to be taking the first round, and surprisingly, qvG seems to be doing better on Loud's map than their own. So will we be seeing a bit of a swap, qvG having a bit more confidence on Bank than Loud, and Loud, same with, of course, the Clubhouse situation. Will we see a bit of a trade-off, especially on maps and wins and all that type of stuff? Now, it's quite interesting because I feel like Goyo actually not going. I completely mixed them up. One is a guy who has an explosive shield, and the other is literally a goat
Attackers
and an
need to
operator.
locate
I
and
do
defuse
not know
as
how
many
I mixed them
bombs
up.
as they can.
But Oryx in hand, I feel like on maps like this and even Oregon in hand, he can be used, but it's very hard to get the potential. You know, he's a hard operator to play in general. He's a high risk, high reward type, just like Caveira, but with, you know,
Bomb
the
located by
ability to
attackers.
jump hatches and rush into someone and knock him to their feet, or actually to their butt all the way down. So Oryx is a high risk, high reward, especially if you get a flank from hatch or
10
anything
seconds to
like that.
insertion.
He can actually become a very valuable asset, but they're not going to be playing him
5
as
seconds to
qvG.
go.
You know, they want to switch it up a bit. Now, you know what I've been seeing a lot? I've been seeing a
Attackers'
lot of
objective
Warden
is to defuse a
because
bomb.
minor teams and just I don't see it much in major, but minor teams just like to play Warden because of the shield. They don't take Alibi or Ella or Tachanka or someone else who has not only a lot more utility to bring and, you know, is not a really specific operator to counter something that is just directed at one smoke or a few or maybe even blinds in general, but they like Warden for some reason. I don't know if it's his appealing mustache or something. I don't know what type of kink players have, but it seems like Warden has been being brought, and I actually kind of like it that Creed right here will be going Alibi over that, especially
Bomb
with the strat
located by
in mind.
attackers.
So we're gonna be seeing if he can use that SMG of Alibis to use, as it has a lot of bullet, and the fire rate is on point. So with that in hand, he should be able to take out at least a few players. I mean, of course, if he has the opportunity and doesn't get backstabbed, but let's all keep that in mind and just let's put it aside for now.
Yep, an interesting thing though for qvG. Again, like you said, they're not bringing the Oryx. I think Oryx is more fitted for basement because you can
Yeah.
have an extension towards the first floor, and all of those hatches work in your favor, especially if you want to retake the second floor. In the meantime, Sir Googie's just gonna leave the game as he was
Oh,
just down. He wasn't a down but not out state, but he leaves the game anyway. Baby Shark puts question marks. I'm confused too. He returns as if this is ranked or something. What are you doing, man? Anyways, that is the first death on the board for qvG. Not in a way that you would expect it to, but it is going to be the first kill as well for them too. Obviously off to a hot start, getting a 3K in the first round, kills Baby Shark, and that's the Ayana down. And not only does she bring the guy 6 in the nays and all of that good stuff, but she brings a lot of utility, a lot of intel value on the attack in the face of those Ayana clones, which can scare the hell out of defenders. Speaking of scaring the hell out of defenders, who best to scare the hell out of defenders than a Nook who gets a triple kill? Maddox with 3, Lasmo finding the closer, and it's Loud to get their own round in their own bank in their own map of bank so far. I am question mark. Su Googie, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
He does not want to give any more kills to, of course, anyone from Loud. He just wants to disconnect. He'd rather disconnect than up their KD, and that seems to be the play for them, as, you know, he had no choice. He got down and he was like, we don't have a Finca. There's not 5 players watching me right in the ass so I could get saved. And he kind of, you know, he decided to dip out for a second or two. He wanted to get some water, chill out, maybe watch some Netflix, Harry Potter on that, and just come back for a bit. So, you know, with that in mind, what an interesting turn of events to say the least. Haven't seen it
Attackers need to
before, but
locate and
first time for
defuse as many
everything.
bombs as
You
they
know,
can.
oh god, I can't get my mind over it. Now, with a 1-1 score, these teams have been pretty toe-to-toe, at least on this map. They seem to be doing quite well. You know, there's been a decent amount of refrags. But of course, like mentioning, Maddox just went on a killing spree. He did not like a player disconnecting while down, so he kind of raged out and just, you know, didn't allow much mercy to be passed on through, as a triple kill was actually passed on with the FMG in hand, and it's not the strongest gun. But in his hands, it should just be nerfed, to be honest. It should just have no range, 0 bullets, and he'd still probably get a triple kill. I would not be surprised. But with that, let's actually talk about what's happening right now. We're going back upstairs. It seems like qvG have, well, it's either that or open area or R10s, you know. It's really just the best option to do. Now, Gazo, yet again, with a bit of a cheeky run out, he wants to, but almost actually gets shot through the window, trying to take advantage of that little hole. He will not be allowed to, as of course, Loud is not so I guess you could say, so stupid to fall for any of those types of tricks. Now, I hope that doesn't come back and slap me in the hat and in the face, and just actually the Jaeger does manage to get a kill off of that. But we're gonna have to see that in the near future.
Hmm. Mattox. This is the value that you get from Nook on a map as it's not just a map as big as Bank, but as big as Theme Park, as big as any other map that's described as big in Siege terms. She offers a lot of like sneaky capabilities, like she offers the alert potential, etc., and all that for the attack. But also she helps set up. She can get set up for great success from her teammates, or she can help set up her teammates for great success as well. Because if the Nook makes a play, and if the defense is worried about her, then it enables her teammates to attack from everywhere else. But as I say that, Matbox is going to be the first to fall. That's your alert capability down and out for the count, and that's Loud Esports down a man very early on. But it's not the end of the world for them. It is the Nook. It is an important pick, but it's not the end of the world for them as the impact that was a double impact. That the UIs did not fool you there. That was a double impact to deny the ace heart breach, but they still have a line of sight on this elevator hallway on the second floor.
qvG still with the man advantage, and not much time to waste. That's going to be Gazo taking some damage, and a lot of lobbies going to be challenged. Of course, from, the rappel elevator, Cade being pretty much stuck right now. He's maybe going to try and get a pick, but he's going to be held with a 417 from Twitch, which is actually quite new to see. We don't see, especially with the F2 being an extremely powerful gun. It doesn't seem to be brought up a lot, especially from, of course, the player, Baby Shark himself. He seems to be just built different and manufactured completely differently. And F2 will be doing the same, and me will be getting taken out. And Gazo joining him, a run out. Slapped me in the back of the head. He's going to be getting the run out. I hope not to see, and this is going to be quite a cheeky one onto the Fake Up player as well. No one expected it, as of course a quick kill will be transferred onto him. And will we be seeing a flawless round? Baby Shark right now with a 417 downstairs actually gets a nasty wallbang onto Gazo. No, for him, he's putting himself in a 4v1 situation. He can still manage to do this, but he has 13 seconds on the clock. He managed to get shot, trying to get some revenge, but will be taking a bit more damage in return as everyone's going against him. He's in a 1v4. He's getting pushed from all sides. He actually managed to take out qvG, but will he be able to plant? No, he will not, unless, of course, he turned on cheats and just started teleporting around, but I doubt he would do that. I very heavily doubt that would happen, but qvG actually managed to start fragging out in mere seconds. The Finka did not expect the run out, as Jaeger just prepped that up at the start of the round. The Jaeger player did have around 5 million IQ and thought, you know what, in 2 minutes and a half, I'll be using this. And he actually did. So, speaking about the Warden, not an alibi, not a Tachanka, nothing like that, but it's going to be a Warden getting brought into play. So, what's your opinion on that, 1B?
I feel like you can get a lot of value from the Warden, especially if you play him in a specific area on Bank, in the specific area that I'm talking about, especially since they're going to basement. I feel like his position is going to be head onto the blue stairs. Now, I don't know what Gazo's kit looks like, because we just haven't loaded in at the moment. We're having a little bit. Okay, there you go. There goes Siege working again.
Defenders,
Have
protect
to
your
you
bombs
just
from
have to
being
talk your
defused
you
by
have to talk your
attackers.
ish about them, and then the Siege servers will get their ish together. I'm not gonna curse the stream, but Gazo again. I don't know what kit he's bringing out. Judging by the SMG 12 secondary, he is gonna go for a shotgun. And with that being said, I think he may have to hold on to blue stairs. He is the best. He is the best operator to hold blue stairs alongside a smoke or even a Jaeger, especially with the utility that all three of those operators can bring. Obviously, with Jaeger, you have the ADSs that can deny utility being thrown at you, especially if Loud Esports bring the
10
nades.
seconds
And
to insertion.
we talk about being in an LMG meta. We're also in a
5
nade meta
seconds
as
to go.
well. So ADSs and with my disc are very, very important. But actually,
Attackers'
no,
objective
he's
is to
not
locate
going
a
to
bomb
do
and
what I
defuse
thought
it.
he was. Instead, he's gonna be on the first floor playing aggressively alongside his teammates. And well, one thing, if it's not if it's not being in like tight cornered positions where a Warden could be really, really effective in, the one thing that he does have is an MPX with a 1.5. So I mean, what better gun than that? The 1.5 on though. Sir Gookie proves me wrong. What better weapon to have the 1.5 on is the AUG, apparently, because he gets the first pick and it's onto IME. And we haven't seen IME pop off the way that he did in the last match of Clubhouse. And there goes another for Creed. qvG starting this map off with the bang, and Loud Esports, no immediate trade for them.
Of course, I mean, right now
Wow.
Maverick was just slithering below a window, but qvG's having no mercy on that. They may have been a bit more overwhelmed on their own map, but they're going to be returning the favor with already starting off with 5 versus 2, and it hasn't even been a minute. The minute just passed right now, but they've already set down 3 pillars and put them in their place. Now, of course, qvG playing very heavily. Baby Shark and the Habana, or of course, Lasmo, are going to be going a bit more into server side. They want to skip the roamers, but they don't want to throw them out, because not only will it take too much time, because this is a huge map like I mentioned before, but they want to, they want to skip all the steps, and they just want to go towards the site, which is a good option. But of course, Lasmo did kind of give up their position, as the first kill from Baby Shark is not going to be the first 17 this time, but it's going to be 2, and he transferred it all the way onto the F2 smoke. So guys are right now actually not using his ability on the smoke. Quite an interesting pick, and Sir Googie almost taking off Twitch's head, but it's going to be the reverse, making it a 3v2. Now all let's hope is for qvG, not to make the mistakes. They need to play it a bit more safe. I do believe that they do not have the diffuser, so they can't really hold it, but with that in mind, they can just play off each other. They can play, they do need to go 1v1s, and a 3v1 is brought onto the Twitch, with, of course, Lasmo being alone. He has 50 seconds on the clock, and will he be able to, of course, clutch it up like once done, actually 3 times done by his teammates already? Will the same mistakes be repeated by qvG? I think not, as they're playing safely. They're playing together. They're not going for 1v1s. The Echo Drone coming in, wasting their time, and it's going to be very hard for the Sabana player, to say the least.
They have 3 shields pointed at them. I don't really know what the hell this strat is from qvG, but okay, it's probably not working all that well. Breezy's gonna get down, and look at how, I just don't know what the hell this strat is! He gets another Lasmo! He might get himself a third if he doesn't choke the gunfight. He has to find the clutch jeans, and he has to find it now. qvG, you have just thrown the ball! There's no way they lose that round, and there is a way they lose the round. And it is Lasmo to be that way. Loud Esports, out of nothing. That should not have been around. They won. And they win it anyways. What the hell?
We're going back to Clubhouse. We're getting some flashbacks over here, especially from the first 2 rounds that happened, and even, I believe it was the 6th or 7th round on the side of qvG. It always seemed qvG did have a comeback or 2 on Clubhouse themselves, especially on attack with the Thermite, but this is just too much. You had a 3v1, 3 shields. You did not push. You had utility. You had the time. The post plant was not there. You still have the time in your
Attackers
favor.
need to
So
locate
all
and
they had
defuse
to do was
bombs.
just, maybe call the crossfire or go for a refrag. But there's not too much to comment. It's happened way too much, and I don't know if they're trying to somehow throw this or not. But can we actually take a second to talk about the 3 shields?
You know what? The reason, I was so confused by those 3 shields, but once Breezy died, and those 3 shields just worked against qvG. It protected Lasmo for a majority of those gunfights. And then also, he
10
was able to
seconds
sneak
remaining.
around the shield that was placed closest to the bomb
5
chastity.
seconds to
And
insertion.
apparently the Echo wasn't really focused on him. He got killed as well, and then he was forced into the 1v1 gunfight, in which he won. So again, the shields, as soon as Breezy fell in red, those shields worked against him. It's a unique strat from qvG, but it's a strat that I don't like for multiple different reasons. Those shields just don't really make sense. They're stacked on top of each other. They don't give you many lines of sight. Especially if you're looking towards that server areas. Instead, it seemed like they kind of blocked qvG's line of sights for the most part, and again, it helped out Lasmo in that 1v4 situation. Now heading into this round for qvG Academy, they go basement again, a round that they shouldn't have lost last round. They go there again. They're trying to get their 2nd time in a row. And Loud Esports, well, can they repeat the same success? Not really the same success, but can they repeat the same result, but with more success? They have Mathox persisting on this Nook, and again, the focus for Loud Esports is going to be a full top down clear. They clear the 2nd floor, then they work on the middle floor, and that's where a majority of these PvP players are.
We're going back downstairs, and the shield placement seems to be a bit different this round. What I also don't like about the shield strat, to keep that in mind, let's say they don't push server. Let's say the attacking side goes, you know, they go main stairs, they go garage. Well, how are those shields going to help you? You place 3 shields in a line, specifically in a row, not only to block off your movement, but also to pretty much just waste utility for yourself. So at the end, you know, it's kind of a wonky one to say the least, but it didn't work out for them. It actually worked in the favor, like mentioned before. And with that, actually, it's back to 2v2. You know, it's back to toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye. And they seem to be evening up. While though the reasons for the evening of ups is quite preposterous. It's quite unique to say the least. Now, you know, that's going to be a double kill actually from Creed. A dropping Twitch will not be survived. As of course, the Hibana will be able to his 2 fallen comrades, but the man advantage is still on one side. Now, Mathox right now taking a bit of damage. It's going to be Gazo almost actually quite close to taking him out, but not close enough, as a lot of time has been wasted. Yet again, the Hibana is still alive, hatches are being opened, and we don't see a Cade. I'm quite interested that we don't see a Cade, as right now safe rotations can pretty much just be controlled from the upstairs, and with that in mind, it's going to be hard for any type of, you know, rotation or anything in that sense, with also nades coming in. There may be an idea to protect them, but Sir Gugi right now is failing to make the shot. He's going to be backing up, as if you leave him in that tunnel, you're going to actually get a very nasty comeback. As of course, qvG actually gets a triple kill onto the side, or a double kill onto the side of course, Loud, and with finishing it up, it's going to be Sir Gugi camping all the way in ruin or dirt, whatever you want to call it. The tunnel will be used to the last advantage, and while they did have, of course, Team Loud did have a lot of advantage. They had a lot of control. A C4 and a gun was enough to actually end all of that. And of course, with the time wastage and the absolute position of the Thorn into dirt slash tunnel slash ruin, whatever you really want to call it, it wasted a lot of time actually. I feel like it was a pretty essential position at the end, but it's still going to be another round for qvG. And one more round, and we're going to be going over to a role swap.
qvG retain their round lead, the match lead onto their opponent's map pick. But again, Bank tends to skew towards defenders sometimes. In other regions, of course, it does favor the attackers quite a little bit. But for the most part, Bank, with the way that it's built, with how big this map is, especially because there's a lot of map to cover for the attackers. There's a lot of map to clear, and that favors the defenders quite a lot, especially if you bring a visual, especially if you bring any 3-speed on this map who can roam around, who can dodge drones, who can grab drones, and all of that good stuff. It does favor the defense quite a bit, but qvG, they're only 1 point ahead of Loud Esports, and you know, compared to what we saw on qvG's on map pick, where we saw round after round after round of decimation from Loud Esports, and qvG, where they looked good at the beginning of the round, but their executes fell short. And in this map, it's been back and forth, and it's very hard to call whether or not this may be a qvG map or a Loud Esports map, and whether or not this would be a point share between both teams, or whether or not Loud will be able to claim the full 3 points to put themselves onto second place. But we will save that towards the end of this map. Baby Shark again going onto that Twitch, looking to clear as much utility as possible. And you know, the fun thing about the recent changes, especially to the utility of certain operators when it comes to claymores and all that such, is that the claymores, they're now doubled. Instead of 1, you get the 2, and that's the luxury that is offered to the attackers, as Juha places 2 of them on to the bottom of those windows. Again, we had a couple of runouts from Gazo in particular, where he got aggressive on those windows. He jumped out and he was able to capitalize off of it. He got some picks for his team and he was able to pull them over the finish line. There goes a couple of kills though, and it's quickly traded out. Gazo again jumping out, getting aggressive, and he is going to fall to Ivy. So his aggression not rewarded, and Loud Esports retain their main advantage.
Ivy getting another pick. It's going to be also Lasmo joining him as he manages to make it a 2v4, but an instant refrag from Creed onto a wallbang on the barricade on square. A very nice shot. A lot of colors came out. It was just a lot of information. And Creed almost got taken out. Same with Sir Gugi. He's on the left. last remaining chunk of his HP, as Creed is just trying to play extremely aggressively. He should do it. He gets one man, and they should be back into equality as no man advantage is given. Now, if of course Creed can manage, or Sir Googie himself as well, it's not impossible, but Creed will be taken off, and Sir Googie with the low HP he has, he will be getting taken out by the Finka, and with the feet taken off, that's going to be attack around number 3 and number 6, given all the way to Lounge, so it's 3-3, it's very equal, and it's just one round going to each. They're just tossing out rounds one after another. You get one round, we get one round, and let's see who can actually win this, as they have been doing pretty well. qvG seems to be doing a lot better here, at least to say, than on their own map. So with that in mind, will they be able to actually win this?
Mm. I don't know. It's very hard to call both of these teams. Again, it's been
Mm,
back and forth on Bank. It wasn't like that on Clubhouse for the most part, where we saw both of these teams on their defenses look extremely strong, but on their attacks look pretty terrible, for lack of a better word, for lack of a better term. Now we're going on to Bank, where the attack and the defense seems to be a bit more balanced. But without seeing
Attackers need to
QVG's
locate
attack,
and defuse
I don't
bombs.
know how good their attack is. Again, I was pretty disappointed with their attack on Club. On Bank, it could be a lot better, especially since Bank tends to, in comp as of recently, it's been a bit more balanced. But before, when they reintroduced Bank into the map pool, it was attacker sided for a good chunk of, I believe it was the first part or the last part of stage 3 in all of EU, in NA, and APAC, as I'm talking about Pro League stats, by the
10
way, not
seconds
just
left
like
before
T4,
insertion.
because T4 don't have like specific stats to focus on unless you're
5
looking at
seconds
a
to
specific
insertion.
league, whereas in Pro League, the stats are everywhere online if you just search them up with
Attackers
one
are
little
moving
Google
out
search.
to locate a bomb and defuse
But
it.
again, I haven't seen QVG's attacks. I don't know what direction they're taking this in. Creed is going to stick to the Ashe that we saw on Clubhouse, and I said I was pretty disappointed with how effective the Ashe was, so maybe Creed can prove me wrong here on Bank.
Yeah, I mean, he seems, just like mentioned before, he's an Ashe enjoyer, you know, he wants to keep it up, and he's a dedicated player. So let's actually see if he can keep up to that role and play it as he should, as it's actually going to be a very fast take from, of course, qvg's side. They're already on square, and they didn't even take a moment to drone. Of course, we're going to be seeing a very interesting pick on the Jaeger loadout with an M87 on the shotgun, a very good shotgun on close range, to say the least. Most of the shotguns are like that, let's be honest. But, you know, with Jaeger's 416 carbine, he has the option to pick it, but he will rather hold blue stars, which does give the shotgun a better opportunity, to be honest. And we're going to be having Juha actually leaving us for this round, and of course, a rehost cannot be currently called, but maybe we'll be seeing it one after this. And Breezy, actually, the first floor and second floor, or second and third, the top 2 floors have already been taken. Now, all for qvg that need to be taken is literally the bottom floor with the site in hand. Now, they have a minute 4. They have all the utility and have time to execute off of it. They can grenade, they can breach, they can do every single thing they want, and they have the time. They have a minute 40.
Attackers have
But
located a
actually, it's
bomb.
going to be Lesmo getting a kill onto Breezy. That's going to be Jackal off the board. A very good pick, especially because he still has good utility. He can track you through walls.
Attackers dropped the
He has a
diffuser.
very strong gun, a super shotty. Actually, I guess you could say a bootleg super shotty in hand. So with that in combo, he's a very good fragger himself. And Baby Shark seems to be taking a lot of damage. SK won't be accepting it. And of course, right now, that's going to be a triple kill onto Lasmo's side. Will he be able to? Yeah, he's actually not downing himself. And with the pistol in hand, right now, he did not see Creed's feet. He doesn't spot them. He actually backs away as he doesn't want to, you know, and want to make the same mistake that happened last mole, but it actually happens. A double kill onto Creed. He can still make it happen. He needs to get 2 kills, but will he be able to do it? He gets shot from multiple sides, backs up as he wants to take his time. You know, he wants to take a chill pill, a breather, whatever you call it. Of course, with that in hand, he has 30 seconds to take out 2 players, or at least get the plan down. Now, will he be able to do it is the real question. He has to push through the Runegate, unless of course he can just go through the main door without a problem. You know, he has kind of an extra passage.
15 seconds to go.
And right now, starting to push into sight, he's just trying to get a prefire. He's trying to
10
get
seconds
anyone
left.
off guard, catch him, and of course, our lovely player Juha is going to be
5
back
seconds
into
left.
the match, and will Creed be able to take out both of the players? He actually does not, as the pistol is pulled out, and of course, I'm just gonna call it a bootleg Rhino revolver will be finishing him off as the one eye gets the final touching blow, and it's gonna be another round, actually round 7, going on to Loud, and that's gonna be a 4-3 score.
With all of the control that qvg had across the map, again, it's the issue with their actual execution that kind of gets me. They all just rushed into Loud Esports' line of fire, just like how we saw I believe it was the Kaid of Juha, not Juha, sorry, of Lasmo, who rushed into the line of fire of Creed on the Ash, who's just playing in Garage and waiting for somebody to rush them. It just didn't seem like QVG, despite
Attackers need to
Juha
locate and
disconnecting
defuse
early
as many
on,
bombs as they
they didn't
can.
need to work for that kill because, again, Juha just DC'd out of the map and out of the game. And again, QVG, with all of the control that they had on the second and the first floor, their execution could have been a little bit better, and this is something that we saw them struggling with on Clubhouse. But now, well, Loud, they get a really good round off of that, and that does boost not necessarily the momentum, but it does boost the mental, because that was a round in which QVG had such a
10
good
seconds
chance
left
of
before
winning,
insertion.
and it just kind of was thrown away after that. And now
5
Loud
seconds
Esports,
remaining.
well, look, they're going onto the second floor. Their hold seems to be more or less
Attackers must
centered
locate
towards
and
that
defuse the
stock
bomb.
area, focusing on both their east side and west side. Hopefully lobby isn't too much of an issue for them, but it is yet to be seen how qvg will attack from here.
Don't think we've seen open area or archives once, I do believe so. It's always been top or bottom, so let's see how these teams actually, maybe we'll be seeing one from the side of QEG, or actually from the side of Loud, my mistake. And with that, it's yet again, it's quite a fast-paced push. You know, they're upstairs, but Square's already taken out. They don't want to take too much time droning, and that's a good thing on one hand, but on the other hand, it can also be quite risky, as you don't want to leave things, let's say there may be a hiding operator, and as we speak of it, F2 is going to be getting a kill, joined by IME, and he's going to be going into printers, almost picking off a second for his collection, as Creed is trying to pick off anyone himself, and it's going to be a 3v5 onto the side of course, Loud, and the C4 getting dropped. It's going to be a kill onto, of course, the one and only Sir Googie, and Osa, Thermite, and Hibana are all the match.
Bomb
The
located by
most
attackers.
important operators, and a good shot, a double kill, may I say, from Gazo's side, making it a 2. So, of course, if Gazo and Creed can actually do this, they still have a chance. They still have a pretty unique, of course, shot at this, and with the shield, still the placement, and everything in hand, they have time. They have time, they have the guns, but will they be able to execute correctly, as Gazo's just trying to get in the type of pre-fire, with some nades getting dropped in. He gets actually pre-picked by Juha with the shotgun in hand, peeks over to the barbed wire way too early and not in the right time. So right now, Creed is a bit of a loner, and against all these 3 players, will he be able to win? He takes a shot at the Malusi, taking her out. A very nice shot, a very nice headshot, may I say. And with Creed right now, he's in 1v2 situation yet again, but this time he has more time, he has more availability, more is on the clock, so he can actually collect himself a lot more, and he's not in other stress. Now, smoke peeks him and he's dead. And exactly as we mentioned that, speak of the devil, he will be doing so with the SMG-11 in hand, the black ice on it as well. He will be finishing it off. That's going to be another round going over to Loud, and that's going to be a 5-3 score on their side.
This is kind of to watch right now. QVG, once they switch onto the attack, I don't know if it's just the attack itself where they have the issues with it, but that wasn't a round in which they had the advantage in. It was from the get go that Loud Esports were able to get opening kills going their way, and there was no immediate response from QVG up until the point where they only had 2 players alive in the 5v2 situation. They were able to get 2 kills, and they slimmed it down to a 3v2, but other than that, it just
Defenders,
wasn't meant to
protect your
be.
bombs from being
And
defused by
unfortunately for
attackers.
them, they sit 2 rounds behind Loud Esports, and Loud Esports, well, they're only 2 rounds away from claiming bank and claiming the full 3 points to again propel them up into second place and still be contending for the champion series. Where if qvG loses, there is a very high chance of them not being able to qualify for the champion series. Again, this is a team last season in season 6 of Talent League in the Major Leagues who finished in first place over our eventual champion
10
series
seconds to
champions
go.
in Machine Soldiers Academy, as they were then known, and also
5
LFO
seconds
Wii
left.
Sports Youngsters, and now known as Laburnum Gaming. Well, it looks like they kind of
Attackers
fell off
objective
the
is
throne
located.
just a little bit and allowed these teams such as Praetorian and Loud and Vivid United again with these with such well-known players like Mr. Easter, for example, who we had a podcast with. So once we have that uploaded, please watch that because I was on it too, and I had a lot to say about a lot of different teams in the Major League. But it's looking like to be a fast rush. 2 kills going to Baby Shark's favor. qvG seems to have fallen, but Breezy is there for the fight back until he gets taken out. Loud Esports, they're looking to put themselves onto match point, and what better time than now, especially with the advantage that they're in a 4v1 or theoretically a 1v3. I'm able to get a kill onto Creed, and now Sir Googie in the 1v4. Baby Shark able to get revived, but he is going to stick onto very low HP. There goes a kill though from Sir Googie, and he does have a chance to fight back inside of this round. He's on full HP, has 2 more adrenal surges, and Baby Shark is on very low HP as well.
Yeah, but it's still sadly a 1v3, and the rush did not actually succeed the way they wanted to. And as soon as we say that, the smoke is going to be there, waiting by the doorway with a shotgun in hand and finishing off the Finka. It's going to be a 3. And of course, qvG right now, losing actually 3-6, they're going to be having to win 3 rounds in a row. 3 rounds in a row, or they are going to be losing this match and leaving us off with Loud winning both of these rounds. Now, of course, qvG had a great start. You know, they traded, they had a lot of going for them, but that rush was not necessary. It was a good idea. It was a good way to catch them off guard, but at the end of the day, it didn't work. It was not catching anyone off guard, and the only one actually caught off guard was themselves. Of course, qvG in the end actually getting a devastating 2 kill brought onto them very early in the round, managing to get a bit of a refrag there from Breezy, but he got
Attackers
instantly
need to
taken out.
locate
And
and
at the end, it
defuse
was
the
a
bomb.
Finka in a 1v3 situation, and a smoke, close range, pump shotgun, action on. Not much of a choice for this Finka player. So now, will qvG be able to win 3 rounds? Now, definitely, we can't say much, but it looks like we may be seeing the last round right now, ladies and gents. Now, of course, it doesn't seem like Breezy as well. We see a decent lineup, but Breezy is going to be hard sticking to Blitz, at least as it seems for now. He's right now playing pretty harshly on him, and he doesn't seem to be switching off,
10
so we
seconds
may
remaining.
see a rush attempt yet again. But will it work out this time
5
with a
seconds
Blitz in
to
hand
insertion.
and the shield in arms? He actually gets switched off to the
Attackers'
Twitch
objective
last
is to
few
locate a
seconds,
bomb and defuse
and that's
it.
going to be back to a default lineup. You know, nothing too aggressive, nothing too passive, and it's now going to be all down to guns, execute, and of course, I guess you could say how much energy they still have in them to pull out. And with downstairs, Loud have been dominating downstairs pretty vastly. They have been doing pretty well, and that's going to be a quick kill onto Sir Gigu. Actually, Gogi, my bad. And Finka taken out this early. They wanted to take things quickly, but you do want to take your time droning people out.
Yep, and that's unfortunately, again, like you said, like you mentioned, I think off the board, that's most of the firepower out of this qvG. You know, the grenades and the Gon 6 taken off of the board, and Maddox just playing this blue stairs this positioning to perfection. Now the hatch in square is open, so they can do a quick flank around him if nobody from Loud are watching his back. Breezy though gonna send out a twitch. I don't know if that was for bait
bomb
or
has
whatever the
been
case may
located.
be, but he does throw it out anyways. And they're still just watching this angle of Maddox. I don't know if they know how to approach this Maddox again, trying to bait qvG to do something, but qvG, they're stuck like statues. Mathox is like Medusa or something. He stared at this qvG lineup, but okay, finally they act, and F2 is able to get that refrag, but not until Imi is there to regain the man advantage for Loud Esports. Again, qvG, they are desperate. This is a round in which Loud Esports could take the full 3 points, or qvG could found one round out of many to get them that momentum to carry them over into overtime, where they can claim a measly 1 point. There goes F2 again, though. A 2K for him so far inside of this round. qvG simply just trying to fight back.
Of course, right now it's a 3v3 situation. And look at Hibana, she's going down. Smoke gets set off too late. A kill from the Rooney, but Hibana gets the situation off. The Sledge does get a kill onto the, of course, the Rooney, and now it's a 2v2. Smoke still has 2 canisters in hand, deploying one. He tries to get it off with 30 seconds on the post plant. What will the team of defenders do? You can pull out a shotgun and actually take out the Sledge without problem, but F2 is there to secure the diffuser with all his might. Now, of course, will Gazo get taken out, and he actually takes out one himself. Of course, getting taken out in a mere instant. The Kate is going to be going for a bit of a defuse, and does he actually get it off? He actually does not, as the second he gets picked off. The last few milliseconds remaining, and qvG will be claiming this round for themselves. So now they need to win 2 rounds in a row, and it should be voila.
Ooh, I saw some question marks going into for qvG in this chat. For if you've been paying attention to the chat for a majority of this round, both of these teams have had like question mark moments where they've trolled each other just like a little bit, and it can play into the mentals of some players if they're not able to just wise up quickly enough, or if they let little words and stuff affect them just a little bit. I don't know. I'm one for trash talk because I am from NA and we all like to trash talk each other. So, sue me. But anyways, regardless of that, it is qvG to get their first round out of, well, what seems to be many on the attack. It's their first round on the
Attackers
attack
need to
on in
locate and
as the
defuse as
side
many
switch
bombs as they
have
can.
happened. And now Loud Esports, well, it looks like they want to try basement yet again. And I mean, they have the Tachanka in play, which is very interesting. I know we talked about the cave just a little bit, and I know why a lot of teams don't bring Kaid, and it's because mainly due to the fact that if they want to have a heavy top floor presence, especially towards the first floor, if they bring a castle as well to aid them on a top floor hold, then a Kaid is useless, because then they can focus on the hatches in open area and be able to deny an easy plant if qvG deem that the site is deem that the server side is weak enough. Again, they have those hatches to support them to deny that plant. But now they're going to be bringing him, and I expect the Loud Esports to have a more turtled in strat where they focus on just slowing down the qvG attack, and also making them waste their resources on their own hold as well. And you see Mathox again on the top of blue stairs as well, where again, a Jaeger with ADSs on the top of blue stairs, that's a lot of utility that can be wasted from the attack.
Oh, definitely. And what we're seeing, a bit of a change up, is going to be the Tachanka getting swamped out for the smoke. Now, I feel like both of these operators have ups and downs, while Tachanka can waste around a minute and 10 seconds, which is around almost a third of the round itself. He can waste that much time, but he has to, smoke and just instantly his utility. Get to a different gun, and of course he has an SMG and a shotgun both in one, while Tachanka has kind of a mixture in an LMG, so it's kind of a mix-up. It's whatever you prefer and what situation you're in. I guess in more situations I would prefer Tachanka just because of time wasted, and Creed is going to be getting the first kill. That's going to be Ash onto another one, and of course a double kill happened. Actually 3 kills getting transferred. One onto, of course, qvG side. That's going to be Buck or Sir Googie out of the match, and Imi as well getting taken out with the Lamai. But right now it's a server push. It's very quick. Barely a minute and 20 seconds have passed. There's already 3 people taken out. It's getting a lot more aggressive than usual, and will qvG be able to take it off? And of course, there's going to be shots fired. Jump getting actually a kill onto Breezy, but it's getting set down. The plant is down, and that's going to be a C4 onto the diffuser, and of course F2 out of the match. It's a 3v2 for Loud, but will they be able to match out, as Gazo's actually very close to killing someone? He gets a very nasty 1-tap, I believe so, the L85. The black eyes in hand, and of course Tachanka still has 9 Shumikas, actually grenades, and 1-tap back onto Gazo. The return the vice versa. And Ash right now, the Kree, will he be able to stand up to his standards as the Ash player and regain his pride? Of course, he has played a lot more Ash than, of course, a better pick. Like, 1B does have a point. Zofia is a lot better and a lot more useful, but will Creed be able to stand up to his pride and, defend his own operator? And right now he's in 1v2. He needs to get two operators, and will he be able to do the anti-QVG? He will be the one to clutch, not the one to be clutched on. And right now with the diffuser and 30 seconds, he's taking a lot of damage. He's trying to go through any situation, going through all the holes open, but needs to find the right solution. Of course, it's 20 seconds on the line. He gets one, but the Tachanka, we get no refrag. That's going to be a 2-0. The side of qvG actually losing. It seems like 0-2. They tried their best. It was close, but not close enough. Of course, Loud will be putting up a better fight and winning this map and the previous one themselves. So 1B, do you have any, I guess, speculations, any thoughts you want to bring out about what just happened?
UVG just never got started on their attacks. Their defenses were fine on both maps, but their attacks, it's again like what I said. It's just they get a good start for most of the Bang rounds. They didn't really have a good start on their attacks, but on club at least, and also just maybe some attacking rounds as well on Bank 2. They had good starts, but it's the execution, it's the end of the round that matters. You can have all of the best, you can have all of your players get the opening picks in 5 rounds in a row. But if you cannot find a result, then that is on you, and that's what QVG had happened to them today. It just didn't click for them on their attacks. Um, and I think that is the takeaway from both of these maps, especially when they go back in VOD review. Had they started out on defense on Clubhouse, well, maybe we could have had a different story. But again, it's their attacks that matter, and they're loud. Just you know what? It was a game of who could do better on their attacks, just like how it was on Clubhouse. And overall, Loud did a hell of a lot better on their attacks than QVG.
Yeah, you're actually right to the point right there. Caught me before I did. And of course, with that in mind, there always has to be a winner. Well, here it could have been a draw actually, since it's not a BO3 or a BO1. But the winner of today is going to be taking the crown, and that's going to be Loud with a pretty devastating blow to QVG. Now, QVG, I don't want to talk about their start too much, but they had it in the late round. They started up a bit stronger, but only once they had, a bit of a talk through, they actually started getting into the late rounds and late matches. English is hard, okay? Believe me, English is extremely hard. But, anyways, off the point, I do believe that is going to be it for today. That is going to be a BO2 of today. It was very neat maps, Bang being included, not seeing much of it, but you always got to check it out and peep on it every now and then. This has been actually before we do finish off. Yet again, I do this a lot on G Cup. I do this a lot on ELL, but I do want to give a shout out to all the the observers, the producers, every staff member working on the background. So a big shout out to them. But yeah, that's gonna be a finish up from your boy Buffalo Bob, and it has been me with your lovely caster 1B, and we will see you yet again tomorrow. Bye bye.